Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer, welcome back to European Truck Simulator 2, and welcome to our first annual, maybe, Christmas Eve holiday avoidance special trip. So we are in Pescara. Yeah, we're in Pescara in Italy, and we're in a truck. I don't think you've seen this truck before. This is an RJL top line, and it's just kind of a brute, just kind of a wee beastie of a truck. It's got the Scandinavian fuel tanks, got the heavy bumper on the front. It's got the special glitched out lighting underneath. You didn't see that. You didn't see nothing. So we're going to hop right in here. Yeah, we're going to hop right in here. And what do we got? We got lights. We got Santa Claus on the dashboard. We got a mug of steaming coffee, and we've got kind of a long trip. We don't have a GPS, so we're going to need to get this going. And brake is off. Throw her in gear, and here we go. So yeah, man, wow, what are we doing here? What is this all about? Well, as some of you may know, I'm not really a fan of the holidays, or they're not really a fan of me. I don't know who started it, but somebody doesn't like somebody. And the way it's gotten all sideways is, at this point, I just really don't celebrate the holidays. I just kind of avoid them. And every now and then, not all the time, but every now and then I'll have somebody in my world around this time of year, and they'll say, oh, I'm going to fix it for you. Let me fix it for you. I'm going to give you the best holiday ever. And I say, no, please don't. Don't do that. And they say, nah, I'm going to do it. And then there's all this pressure, and it just gets even worse. So it's like, oh, well, that didn't work out at all. So yeah, I just kind of lay low on the holidays. I just kind of avoid them. No other way to say it. And I know some other people do that. Now, the holidays are not like a miserable, sad, depressing time of year for me. It's just a little bit, a lot of people are getting kind of frantic around this time of year with shopping and family and, so it's like there's a lot of stress in the world. And even though I'm not into the holidays at all, that stress is like all around in traffic and the way people are in stores. So you got that going on. And then, moment. Yep. So I guess what I'm saying is, even if you do like the holidays, you have that additional stress and sort of, So it's like the holidays, at the best of times, they can be a handful. And then for some people, it's just really kind of a pain in the ass. And then for other people, it's like, oh, it's really kind of a rotten time of year. So I know some YouTubers do Christmas and holiday specials. And I thought, yeah, man, I'd like to do that. But I'd like to do mine a little bit different. And I would like to do mine for maybe people who aren't so into the holidays. Or, maybe you're just spending time with family, and it's just, I just need a break. I'm just going to go, just going to go in the bathroom, play Oregon Trail on my phone. Leave me alone for a minute. Or whatever. Maybe you just need a little bit of a break. So I thought, yeah, I'll give you a little bit of a break. We'll do a video together. And then there was another part of me that was thinking, like, I'm kind of a sentimental cat at heart. Kind of a big old softy. I don't mind admitting it. And I like the idea of going home for the holidays. And the problem is I don't have a home anymore. Home is just, you know what I mean? Every place is the same. I've traveled so much for so long that there really is no home anymore. And that's kind of a weird thing for a lot of people to think about. And so I suppose on some level, it's weird for me to think about it as well. And there's part of me that, I wouldn't say that wishes I had a home to go to, but that understands like what a big deal it is to go home for the holidays, even though it's stressful and family makes you crazy. That's an important thing to us. So another part of me thought, well, why don't we make a video where we're heading home, So I fired up Grimes Frosty Mod. We're running Frosty Mod, we're running Frosty Roads, and we're running Frosty Physics, and we're running Frosty Sounds. So this is as frosty as we can be. But I thought, oh geez, yeah, there's that Frosty Physics. I thought, let's head home for the holidays. I don't know where home is to you. I don't know if you're going to make it home this year for the holidays. But I thought, let's just make it home. So we're going to take a long trip in the snow, and we're gonna get home for the holidays. You get what I'm saying. If you get what I'm saying, then you get what I'm saying. And if you don't get what I'm saying, that's cool too. That's cool too. Then this is just gonna be a trucking video. For the rest of you, yeah, you get it. So we are in the Scania. This is an RJL. It's a fantastic mod. I don't know in any game, in any sim, I don't know if there's anything like more solid and more sort of legendary than the RJL Scania. It is like truly next level. And it keeps it updated. It's such a fantastic mod. And there's so many things that you can do with it. And we've done them. I'm comfortable saying we've done them. We either have, or in the past we have had like every conceivable iteration of this truck. There's so many different things you can do with it, from like a 4x2 with a tiny little day cab all the way up to a 5-axle with that longliner cabin on it that's like a damn RV. It's like a bus. So this is sort of in between. It's a top line. I guess you could call it like a big day cab. I mean, it's got a little bit of a sleeper back there. And we've got, I want to say we're on about 580 brake horsepower, and we do have second axle. Speaking of, let's go ahead and drop those. And yeah, just some fun stuff, and just all the different slots on this truck. I know when some people mod a truck, essentially all they do is just add 1,000 slots to an SCS truck and call it done. But this has like really thoughtful accessories, and then there are about maybe 3 or 4, maybe a little bit more than that, maybe a half dozen modders that make some parts specifically for the RJL Scania. That's where we got those fuel tanks, which are just so dope. It gives it a really utilitarian look. You know, looks like a little mule, very functional. So I love that. So yeah, we got the weather mod, we've got the truck mod. We're pulling in a carry trailer by Cast, and I went ahead and hooked that up ahead of time, because when you do have that mod in, man, he's got so many skins and so many companies for his trucks. If you click the little gear icon when you go to the dispatch to pick up your load, there are so many options for different brands that you can get on the trailer. You just have to scroll through them, and it takes forever. So yeah, we got that. And the first part of our trip, I mean, it's 1,000 kilometers, and I'm going to try to go 2 hours tonight. I did turn down the bit rate in my capture app, so we're capturing at 30 Mbps rather than 50 Mbps. Hopefully the quality is still pretty good. And then I'm going to, when I render, I'm going to render at, it'll still be 1080p 60 FPS, but I'm going to do a couple little tricks to keep the size of the file down. And hopefully that will, I won't end up with like a 400 gig transfer file before it renders to the final file. And I don't mind either way. It's just, that's like literally half my hard drive in my utility laptop, and it does get a little cranky when you have one file taking up half the hard drive. So that is that. We're starting in Pescara, we're going to Geneva. That's in Switzerland. We're going to Geneva first, and depending on how we're doing on time, if it takes us 2 hours to get there, I don't think it will, but if it does, then we'll call it right there. Do we need to get over? I don't think we do. Maybe we do. Did we? We did not. But you know what? Better safe than sorry. Okay. So let me slide back over here. And I'm super careful on these roads, because the Frosty mod is 3 components. One is Frosty like on the sides of the road. The second is the Frosty road surface, but no physics yet. And then the third component is the Frosty physics. So we've got all 3 running right now. We've got snowy terrain, we've got snowy roads, and we've got slippery roads. And I guess the fourth one is the sound, and that's made by another cat. That's made by the same mod maker that does the Sound Fixes pack. He's got a special sound fixes pack for the Grimes Frosty mod that changes the sound of rain. I think it changes the sound of tires, which you can barely hear, but it gives them that kind of crunchy snow sound. Very cool. And I think he's also, like, he modifies the wipers so they sound more like they're moving over a kind of a slushy, icy windscreen. Man, the modders just kill me. Are you kidding me? Like, the things they do and the time they put into these, and just give them away. It's next level. Absolutely next level. So yeah, man, we will fight our way up to Geneva, see how we're doing when we get there, and at that point, depending on how we're doing on time, depending on how the video is gone, we may get another cargo and take it all the way into Reims, or we may just pretend that Geneva's home, and that'll be it. So, I mean, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. It's moment, concentrating. Oh, great sound too with that little sewing machine in the background. Yeah. I know this game is, I didn't forget what I was talking about either. I know I got to go back and tie that off, but I've heard people say this game is really just like Scan Your Truck Simulator, and then there's some others thrown in, but it's more than that. It's definitely, there's a ton of brands represented. Having said that, Scania is, I feel, the one that is represented like the most, you know what I'm saying? This game does love some Scania. Modders do too. So yeah, we'll see how we're doing when we get to Geneva. You know, it's, we're going to have to sleep a couple times too, because this is quite a long trip. But I think we can get all the way to Reims in this video, and then, like I said, that'll be we'll be home for the holidays. So what else? I mean, we got a long trip. What are we going to talk about? I mean, we talk about this year. It's been an exciting year. It's been an interesting year. I started a YouTube channel this year. That was super, super cool. Was and is. Continues to be. It's been a very it's been a very chaotic world, to say the least. I don't take any sides on that. I don't really care about politics, or really anything else for that matter, but it's whether you care about it or not on like a partisan basis, I still think you can look around and notice that people have absolutely lost their minds on both sides. So that's cool. That's a cool thing in America. Everybody's going insane. It's fantastic. Trying to think what else. It's a fantastic time to be in sim gaming. Are you kidding me? It is. It's just, I can't believe the quality of sim games, and I know I go on and on about this in videos, but I really feel like in my lifetime I'm going to see sim games that are, you cannot tell the difference, even when you're playing them, even when you know you're in a game, that you're not going to be able to tell the difference between the game that you're in and reality. Which is not to say that you're going to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to forget where you are or anything. I'm just saying that it will be like you're watching a movie that you're also controlling at the same time. So I guess it's the best way I can describe it. And that's going to happen in the next few years. It's already sporadically, like intermittently, in some moment, slipping. In some games, in some sims, it already happens. You know, that you can watch a replay and it's like, yeah, that's pretty much like watching a movie. Now, where it breaks down is, I'm really into race sim, and this year there were some night mods for Assetto Corsa, and of course Project Cars 2 has always had a night mode, and we've always sort of had that option. But I feel like it stepped up a little bit. There's some additional, or like some more aggressive nighttime racing. iRacing just got it. I mean, it's December, so they just got it, but they have a dynamic day-night cycle with night racing now. And it's one of those things where it's not just that it's a novelty. I mean, it definitely is. Like, it's new, and anything new is always fun to kind of get your hands on and, you know, take a look and learn about it or whatever. I think this one, you know, signs in Italy are completely different. Like at the interchanges, completely different as far as like what arrows mean. You can either go straight or get off, or you can only get off. So yeah, you get in some of those sims and it's like, whoa, night racing, wow, this looks so real. And it does, until you find a in-car video from Le Mans or something, and there's some details that I feel like game developers will in time find a way to capture, but at the moment they don't necessarily have all of them dialed. And there's a saying or a truism or whatever, that you go down the street to a pawn shop and buy a $50 fiddle, a $50 violin, and if you play it and have an audio engineer analyze the waveform, like the complexity of the sound that $50 fiddle makes, it will be extraordinarily complex, even if it's like not necessarily pleasing to the ear, even if it's a little squonky. It ain't a Stradivarius, but the actual technical complexity of the sound that wooden violin makes will be just unbelievably complex and detailed. And then you can fire up a $10,000 synthesizer and tell it to make the sound of a violin, and if you analyze that, if your audio engineer analyzes that sound, it will be much less complex. There will be a lot fewer variations in the frequency and the amplitude and the waveform and the modulation and various other things. And the reason is that the most powerful synthesizer just simply lacks the computing power to replicate the intricacies of millions and millions of wood cells. And really that's what you get when you hear a violin. You're hearing the structure of the wood, and the wood is made of little organic cells. And there's millions of them, and they're all different. And the grain of the wood and the glue and the lacquer that the person used when they made that violin, and maybe it had I don't know, maybe they stirred their lacquer too much and it had a bunch of bubbles in it, tiny little bubbles you can't even see. So when the finish was applied to that fiddle, to that violin, it has bubbles in it. You can't see them, but it affects the sound on a very subtle level. Or I don't know, maybe it was like a really dry period when the tree that made that wood grew, and it has a unique, the cells are different somehow, or whatever. You get what I'm saying? Life has an organic and a very natural amount of chaos in it, and that chaos is what makes it unique, And computers, try as they might, they can't ever really be random. They can get close, but they can't ever really be random. And random is sort of what makes real life so much fun. And so, real, natural, I guess. So when you see... slipping. So when you see that in-car footage from Le Mans of a GT car at night, there's just little things happening in the frame. You might not be able to put your finger on them, but they're random and they're real, and that's what makes it seem real or look real, or however you want to describe it. And our eye just picks up on it. It's like we just know it as people. Whoa, sir. Oh, fantastic. And I don't know if games will ever be able to have that specific sort of organic quality to them, just the natural randomness of real life. They'll get close, and the things that are fooling my eye right now are things like how crisp the image is, or the way the light affects the surface, and just things that computers are good at. But I don't know if computers will ever be able to completely fool us. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe they already are and we just don't know it. That would be both terrifying and hilarious, I have to say. So, but yeah, man, it's been a fantastic year to be in gaming, and I think this was just the right year to do this. I've been thinking about making some YouTube videos for several years. This was the right year to do it. I can't, like, if you asked me to explain that, I couldn't exactly give you a reason other than to say, yep, this was just the year to do it. Everything came together, and it all worked out. So, yeah, man, it's been a good year for me. It's been a bad year in some ways, but all in all, I'll give it an A. Oh, man, this car is kind of, what are you doing, sir? Okay. Okay. I want to pass. There we go. We got it. We got it. Maybe. Yep, we got it. Okay. And I just... oh, no, we're okay. Okay. There's the switch. Oh, now you're going. Okay. Oh, sir. So the switch for our lift axle... we're caught out. Oh, we're not caught out. It all worked out perfectly, actually. I can see the switch for our lift axle is illuminated, but I don't know that that necessarily means that it's up. I think it's just the switch itself has a light inside it, because the two indicators on the instrument panel that actually show the front and rear lift axle are both out right now. And I keep speeding. I keep speeding in the snow. I'm not even trying to. It's just, I just want to go fast. What can I say? I don't actually. I want to drive realistically. That's been my my thing since I started the channel. I want to do things as realistically as possible. I don't always, but I try to. I want to. Tell you what, let's lock in the cruise control. See if that'll keep us from speeding. So yeah, this is a fun little truck. It's a relatively short wheelbase. I want to say that there are enough chassis options in the RJL Scania that you can, slipping, that you can, how do we need to be over? Yeah, with the roads iced up like this, I can barely see. No, we're going straight. Okay. So I want to say this is the short 6x4, and there is an option for a long 6x4. So short 6x4, short cab, big motor, and it's just a hoot to drive. And then I found that heavy bumper. I don't even know where, but like I said, there's some mod makers making mods specifically for the RJL Scania, which is itself a mod. It's so meta, yo. And they are... Ooh. I really should not have the cruise control set through these twisties, but what can I say? Right. All right, we made it through there. So yeah, it's a hoot to drive. We haven't driven it yet. We're still in our Madster MAN TGX Euro 6, and that's still up in Iceland. We'll hop back in there momentarily. But I did want to do this video, like I said, for Christmas Eve. Oh, look at that. A little bit of lovely snow. Fantastic. Puts you in the mood. It snowed once where I am. Quite a bit, actually, like 7 inches, which is a ton for this area. The American South, and then it was gone within a few days. It all melted. But it definitely, it made me miss... Made me miss being in the mountains. And it's weird because you think snow is snow, but this snow was nothing like mountain snow. And there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not like complaining or anything. Oh, your snow's not as good as my snow. It was fine. It was very nice snow. It just really, it made me miss the mountains, and it made me miss the kind of snow you get up at 6,000 or 7,000 feet, where I have been lucky enough to live many times in my life. You know, it's weird living in a town like that. I lived in Mammoth Lakes and I lived like right at the foot of the ski hill, to the point where we had parking problems on the little street that I lived on because people would park and then just grab their skis off the roof of the car or their snowboard or whatever, and head over to the Gandhi stop that was like right up the street. There we go. So that was a weird thing, and I know it's been weird for me in the resort towns that I've lived in, ski resort towns and mountain bike resort towns. It's been weird to live in those places and realize, like, wow, I live in a place that people wait all year to come visit for a few days. Huh. Okay. Now, I didn't have, in those places, you meet people, like, I enjoy backcountry touring, but I got into that as a component of mountaineering, right? Like, you got to get to the mountain somehow, and you can either skin in on alpine touring skis or you can snowshoe in. And the thing about snowshoeing is if you snowshoe in, you have to snowshoe out. Whereas if you skin in, then you can ski out. Freeheel, but not tele, alpine touring. And you got to mention the difference, because telemark skiers are, man, they are like a breed apart. They do not like when you conflate alpine touring and telemark. It's a whole different thing. So we would freeheel out, but not telemark. So that's how I got into alpine touring, and that's how I got into skiing and snowboarding really in general. But I was never really a standalone skier the way some people are. And I'll tell you what, I lived in those towns, and there were people that could tell you exactly how many 100-day years, how many 100-day seasons they'd had in their life. And to ski 100 days in a year it's just an astounding accomplishment, particularly when you think, and I'm not talking about like a broken leg or anything, but just little ticky-tack orthopedic injuries that you get when you ski a lot. And to ski 100 days in a row is an accomplishment in and of itself. To have done it multiple years is crazy. And it's crazy how many people you meet in these towns that can tell you like they've had a dozen 100-day seasons in their life. And it's like, wow, man, you really, really like skiing. Like, I like things. There's some things that I like in my life, but you really like skiing. And they really do. It defines them. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. It's, I think it's easy to look in from the outside and be like, oh, really? Skiing? That's how you're going to define yourself? And it's like, well, why not, man? Anything. I know people that define themselves with like fantasy football or you know, how often they go out to restaurants or whatever. It's whatever you want, man. It's your life. You figure it out. So, yep, that's a cool thing about those towns. And it's, you know, I have to say they're a bit of a downer because I lived in them year round. And when you don't take off in the spring, they get pretty boring. And now a lot of those towns have a summer season as well. People just, you know, come up and take in the sun and maybe do some mountain biking, what have you. So they're doing a lot of things to try to like keep the towns alive in the summer. But for the most part, it's empty and there's just not a lot going on, which is cool in a way because you get the whole town to yourself. But not cool in a way because there's no business and nobody has any money, and you know what I'm saying. So, yeah, man. Yeah. I'm trying to think where else I've lived. It's crazy. I've lived in, I think the smallest towns that I've ever lived in are Mammoth Lakes, which has an off-season, like, resident population of about 3,000, and Moab, Utah, which was about the same. And then they really, like, balloon up on a big ski weekend, or in the case of Moab, on a big mountain bike weekend. Although mountain biking is not the only thing that's going on in Moab. There's a big paddling scene down there because the Colorado River goes right through town. Great whitewater. And there's a ton of climbing. And the Fisher Towers are right up the road. Astroman, even though it's closed, Astroman is right up the road. And Wall Street, Indian Creek, down the highway way. So there's fantastic rock climbing there as well. There's a ton of base jumping. So it's like a town, if you're into, I hate to say extreme sports because it's such a, you know, it's like the Mountain Dew bro crowd. I don't like the term, but I guess it fits. If you're into extreme sports, like Moab is the place to be. Plus, Arches is right up the road, which is a very popular national park. So you get, on a busy weekend in the summertime, well, I take that back. In the spring and the fall, summertime is too hot. It's like 120 degrees. But in the springtime and in the fall, very, very crowded, and it's everything from like a bunch of disgusting rock climbers that have been driving cross country for 3 days in a smelly car, all the way up to like old retired people in a $500,000 RV. And they're all in town, and they're all, doing their thing, getting their tourist on. So those are the smallest towns that I've lived in. And then the biggest town I've lived in is probably Los Angeles, which is, 17 million people in the basin? Which is, with my OCD, it was always a bit unnerving, because it's like, man, if something went wrong in this town, how the hell are we all going to get out of here? And that's one of those things that, that's the nature of OCD. It's like, once you think about it, and you sort of, I wouldn't say that you can't stop thinking about it. You know what I mean. And the amount of food that has to be brought into LA, in the US, grocery stores have about 72 hours of groceries. If grocery stores are not replenished every night, they'll be completely empty in about 72 hours under the best of circumstances. And you throw in something like, bad weather coming, and everybody's got to get their lunch meat and bread, and stores clear out in like an afternoon. And then you think about the basin with 17 million people, and it's like, if all these trucks and trains stopped coming in and stopped bringing groceries, what would we eat? Like, where would we get food? And it's not as simple as like in Mammoth Lakes. If the grocery store in Mammoth Lakes doesn't have any groceries, you get in your car and drive down to Bishop or someplace. But in LA, it's like, okay, if the grocery stores in the basin are empty, then what do we do? Like, get in our car and drive to Arizona for groceries? So it's really kind of unnerving to think about. Or if they had to evacuate, which it happens it happened in the state that I'm in. It happened this fall when the hurricane came in. People on the coast, people on the coast evacuate. They do that anytime there's a big storm. Now, that's just people that are within 100 miles or so of the coast. And there's plenty, waiting for the game to crash. There's plenty of room for them to like be absorbed a little bit further in. And then after the storm, they go back and build their houses. But if there was like a tsunami or something coming, and you had to move all those people out of Los Angeles, like, it just wouldn't happen. I really don't think it could happen. So as much as I enjoyed LA, there was always this sort of unnerving feeling in the back of my mind that like, we're sort of running on luck here. Like, we need a lot of things to keep going right if this is all going to keep going right. If one thing goes wrong, if two things go wrong, like, we could be in a world of hurt very, very quickly. So, and that's not necessarily me being grim. That's, like I said, that's just the way OCD works. It's hard to look around and once you notice something, it's hard to forget about it. So I would totally go back to LA. Something's going to get you, right? Something's going to get you when your time is up. But having said that, doesn't mean that I was 100% comfortable with it. Man, we're really getting some scenery loading here. I think part of that may be because we are running Frosty. I can't say. We are running everything off our M2 drive now, which is legitimately like 7 times faster than an SSD. So we're loading as fast as we possibly can. It's just not fast enough. Need more RAM. Need more of a lot of things. Okay. And I suppose we should sleep. Is that what I'm seeing right there? Or is that a toll booth? I think that's a toll booth that we're about to pass through. We'll start looking for a place to sleep. Now, the funny thing is, we left at, 2 o'clock in the morning? And so, of course, it's daylight now, and we'll go to sleep, and when we wake up, it'll be dark again. But you know what? That's okay, because when you travel for the holidays, you get home in the evening. And that's going to work out for us as well. Where are we at? 35 minutes. Perfect. We're about halfway there. This is fantastic. Everything is going to plan. Except those little hiccups. That's not part of the plan. Right. I know. I am getting tired. Wow, we're really getting tired. Okay. All right. Next place that we can sleep, we got to pull in. I'm hoping there will be one kind of soon. Let's see what we got. There's one right there. Perfect. Okay, let's get some sleep. Okay, I mean, it's not right there. It's like right there. It's not right there. It's right there. Fantastic. And I guess are we in Austria? Are we in, does it say trucks? It says trucks. Where's the... Oh, there it is right there. Okay. Hard to see the lines. Right. Let's get her squared up here. Let's get her stopped. Right. Neutral. Set the brake. Wipers off. Wipers off. There we go. Parking lights on. Shut the engine off. And let's crawl back here in the bunk and get some sleep. Beautiful. Evening. Still snowing. I was hoping it would be. All right. Lights on. Throw her in gear. Brake off. And it looks like... Is there some fuel around the other side of this place? Yeah, I think there is. Fantastic. Man, I do love this game. This is the very first thing that I recorded for the channel almost a year ago. And I really do like it. Right, so once again, wipers off, lights off, engine off. We'll go ahead and fill up here. I think we probably had enough in the tank to make it to Geneva. But you know what? What's wrong with being on the safe side, particularly in this weather? Right. Lights on. Brake is off. Throw her in gear. Here we go. Beautiful. All right, lift axles down, wipers on, lights are good. And we're golden. Very cool, very cool. I don't know how fast I'd be going in this snow. You know, it's slippery. It's definitely slippery, but I haven't really felt like terrified till this point, like unnervingly slippery. So I think maybe we could do 80, which is, what is that in American? About 50 miles an hour? Yeah, I think we could risk that. And I don't know exactly what country we're in. I don't think we can be in Germany. I guess we would have to be in Switzerland, right? Because that's, I mean, Switzerland is between Italy and Germany. Oh. Why? And we're not far enough east to be in Austria, so yeah, it would have to be Switzerland. Okay. Works for me. I guess I could have just noticed the flag when we were pulling in. Pay more attention, but doesn't always work out that way. There you go. Those pauses, man. We weren't having those for the longest time. I'm guessing that's got something to do with either pro mods or the weather. Although this is the first time we've been in Italy for a while. Could have something to do with the Italia DLC. I don't know. I mean, I got no complaints about the game. I think I'm just conditioned to fear those hiccups, because for the longest time, that is what preceded a game crash. But we haven't had a crash for a long time, even through the 1.33 patch. I don't think we had... Yeah, maybe. I mean, I can take a look, but I don't think we had any crashes through 1.33, other than, well, maybe a little bit off camera as I was trying to sort out what mods were broken. But you know what I mean. Nothing really unexpected. Like when you're debugging mods, you sort of expect crashes, because that's what you're doing, is you're looking for mods that are broken. But I feel like once we sorted that process out, we really haven't had any crashes in-game. So that's been cool. And that's, every now and then I'll think about how modded I have this game, and it is like remarkable to me that it runs at all. I have to say, it really is like, I don't even understand it. I don't want to say it's luck, because I put a lot of time into it, but at the same time, part of me is like, oh, it's just luck, man. Just admit it. Like, there's, what, 125 mods running, and we're still relatively stable with a half-decent frame rate? No, that's just luck. No way that's, like, in my wheelhouse, you know what I'm saying? We're just lucky. But, whatever, I'll take it. If it, you know what? If it's luck that keeps the game running, then luck it is. We've also got, I wouldn't say a ton of drivers. I think we have about 10 drivers. And they are all leveling up, and we are making money much, much faster than we need it. Because we're not really buying anything. We did buy some trucks. We bought this truck. I mean, I bought it off camera. I bought it. I wouldn't say I bought it just to buy it. I mean, I bought it for a driver, and I knew we'd be driving it too. At some point. Like, we personally would be driving it, but I didn't really need it. Didn't really have a reason to get it. It's one of those things, man. First you hire drivers, then you need to buy trucks for them, right? And once you buy trucks for them, they start making you money, and now you have all this money, and it's like, well, shit, what do I do with it? Oh, I know. Let's build trucks. What do I do with the truck? Give it to a driver, and then it's just, it's the loop. Get a better gear out of here. There we go. I do like the sound of this truck. No doubt. How are we doing on time? 46 minutes. You just want to go an hour? I don't know, man. I kind of wanted to, I wouldn't say keep you company, but like I said, I know the holidays are kind of rough for some people. Oh, really? Okay. Okay. I suppose I deserve that. Set the cruise control. Try to keep it from happening again. There they go. I do like this game at night. You know, I should probably slow down before I get another one. That cop is still right in front of us. Hiccup. That's curious. Okay. It says we're actually still in Italy, passing into France. So I guess we'll go... Okay, I thought we were going from Italy directly into Switzerland. But it looks like... Looks like we're going to go from Italy into France and then up and around and back into Switzerland. Okay. Hey man, as long as we get there, I'm easy. Right. You're chugging up a mighty hill here. Holy smokes. I've got my foot to the floor. And we were just barely accelerating. right. There we go. Wow. That is a low gear, and it is slippy. You know, I don't know with Grimes. I don't know if everything is the same amount of slippery, or if there's like areas that are more slippery than others. But pulling out right there, that felt very, very slippery. How we doing on time? Okay, 51 minutes. Yeah, I think we're gonna come in right about an hour. How you feeling about that? Maybe that'll have to be just about right. I don't know. I mean, I kind of wanted to go longer, but this far in, you know what I'm saying? Let's just go an hour. Let's go an hour. And the thumb that I use to turn off my wipers is the thumb I use to steer. Never mind, I'll just leave them on. Man, it's just hiccuping over and over. I wish I knew what was causing that. I mean, I assume it's a scenery tile loading or something, some type of texture or polygon loading. I don't know. But whatever it is, man, it scares the hell out of me. Ooh, getting slippy again. Okay, yeah, it definitely seems intermittent, like there's some areas that are more slippery than others. But we haven't put it in the guardrail yet. We haven't put it in the ditch, so we're doing okay. Although, to be fair, that is setting the bar pretty low. Ah, interesting. When it did whatever it did right there, when it hiccuped, it's like it doubled up the snow spray texture that was coming off the trailer in front of us. That was interesting. Getting close. Just saw a sign for Geneva. This is us. Don't know if I want to get out in the hammer lane and try to pass through these twisties when we're this close, and we're only another few minutes to Geneva. Why risk it, right? Let's just keep our wits about us and get on into town. Right. Oh. Oh. Interesting. Okay. All right. There's that. Here we go. And I'm trying to remember how big Geneva is. I want to say it's a fairly big town, but I'm thinking of how it is on frame rate. You know, some towns are better than others. And off the top of my head, I can't remember. Yeah, well, I guess we'll find out in a minute. All right, and we are in Switzerland. Oh, game. Go. All right, I can see our exit. When we move over to the right there, what is that? I guess that's the rumble strip because we get a little vibration when we get over it. Curious why there's no snow on it. I mean, I guess if that's the fog stripe, you know, you would need to be able to see it to know where the edge of the highway is. I just try to stay in the wheel ruts, but who knows? Who knows? Right. So we're here. We made it. It's fantastic. And okay, and we're right about exactly 1 hour. So this all worked out. Yeah, I think we're going to cap it at an hour. Let's do that. So we get over here. Lift axles up. Oh man, everything is going wrong all at once. Yeah, we're gonna call it. Before anything else goes wrong, we're gonna call it. Perfect. So, making our big swing here. Fantastic. Got through that. Whoa. Okay. Get down the hill here. Whoa. Get down the hill here. Yeah, very slippery right now. But we made it in one piece. That's the important part. Is it though? Is it really? Yeah, maybe. Right. Okay, we got the blinky lights because it's 3 o'clock in the morning. So I think that's fair. Right. Okay, we're going right in here. I think we are. Oh, okay. Swung out to the left to make my turn, and that guy snuck by on the right. Pretty reckless, sir, I have to say. Right. Let's get this thing turned around and get her backed in. Yeah, that's about right. Set the brake. Lights off. Wipers off. There we go. Engine off. Let's see how we did. Fantastic. 1,000 kilometers. Made some good money. 30 grand. Wow. 1,600 XP. We did okay, folks. Thanks so much for stopping back to check out the Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of European Truck Simulator. And I'll tell you before you go, the holidays are a good time for you. Then happy holidays. And I hope 2018 was great. I hope 2019 is even better. If you're not into the holidays, and if this is a difficult time of year for you, you only got one more to go. You're going to make it. So we'll see you next time. Take care now.